Hey trappers, Dale Billingsley here, Billingsley Brand Lures. So I've been asked to show my technique and my method of snaring in short grass. So we're out here on one of my roads that I trap on, and I'm on a really hot fox, coyote, and raccoon location. I say a hot raccoon location, it's really not. I pick up a few here each year, but they're as big as a box car, okay? But it's a really good fox and coyote location. They cross through here quite often. So I'm gonna show you my technique of doing that. I'm gonna switch the camera back over though and kind of give you a bird's eye view, or not a bird's eye view, but a view of what I'm looking at here. So stay with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are. We're on a gravel road. I've got a bean field with a timber draw coming up through it here. I've got a gateway right there, driveway. And then as you go on across the road here, I've got this old fence post right there. And that old fence post and that little mulberry tree make for a perfect landmark for fox, coyotes, and raccoons to cross on. They can pick that out. Now just down the road here, just a little ways, a few years ago, there was a house that sat right there. Okay, so this is all crop field now. That house has been torn down, and back then, the crossing was actually just a little ways, just about actually where that, you see this first telephone pole, then that second telephone pole down there is where the crossing used to be. But since they took that house out, those critters have kind of lost their landmark other than that telephone pole, and they quit using it. So now they've come up here and they use this driveway, and then like I said, they cross on across right about, timber's just about to get right there. Right there is where the trail usually comes across. Now it's going to be hard to see it this time of the year with the green grass and everything growing up, but I'll do my best that I can here. So I'm going to get things kind of set up here. Just stay right with me. Okay, so you can kind of see I've got that snare hanging in that trail right there. Let me back up just a hair and hopefully get my shadow out of it, and it'll show up a little better. Now that trail, that snare's hanging. I am roughly 8 inches up off the deck. A little bit low for a coyote, I'll agree to that. But it's still going to take every fox, and it's going to take every raccoon that comes through this trail. You can see the lock is in the off there, hung off to the side there. You want your lock, depending on which side you're hanging on, in the 10 o'clock or the 2 o'clock position. That puts tension on that snare, just like you're putting tension on a foothold trap on the pan. Now that's pretty much all I do, other than I do take just a little grass, not much, and I'll kind of lay up there alongside that snare, and that's it. But here's the thing that I hope you're going to be able to see, but I'm not real sure how well it's going to show up in the camera. I'm down in the bottom of the road ditch, so that when they come to it, they're actually going uphill just a little bit. Not much of a grade right there going towards the cornfield. But there's a little bit of a grade there. So when they're standing on the road bank, let me see if I can back up here and show y'all. See how well this shows up. When they're standing, now granted, they're not as high as what we are right now. See, we're down here about at their level right now. When they're standing here, that snare is blended into that back of that bank, that tapering hill. That snare is blended into it. so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And then it'll disappear even more. We'll go around this other side. And if they happen to be coming from this way, I don't know how well this is going to show up in that sun. But as they're coming from this way to go west across the road, now it's blended into the road bank and it really disappears then. That's the secret to snaring in short grass. You've got to be able to hide and blend that snare into the background somehow, some way. Now, you're not always going to have these little draws and these little tapers and banks to work with. Sometimes you're going to be flat wide open, just as flat as a tabletop. Go ahead and set them. You'll be amazed. You'll be surprised at how many coyotes and how many fox and how many big raccoon will come up and stick their head through that loop on a flat level surface. They are not a cunning animal like everybody thinks they are. They're dumb. They are just a dumb animal. Until they show me that they're carrying 10 more marbles than what the average bear is, they're just a dumb animal. I don't buy into this whole uncatchable animal kind of thing. I don't buy into it. You show me that they're uncatchable, and then we'll tighten up on them and do something different. But until then, I treat every one of them exactly the same. They're just an animal. So please stop putting them up on a pedestal. They're not that smart. Now here we are again up on that road bank. Just about the same height as the camera is just about the same height as the head of a fox or a coyote, actually a little bit high. Now we're more down on their level, and you can see that snare blends into that background and it just kind of disappears. All right, guys, here we have an excellent coon trail that's just starting to show up through that light grass, that short grass. That would be another excellent location to pick up raccoon and red fox coming through this low spot. And you can sure enough snare them very easily right there. Just look for the narrowed down spot in the trail and hang your snares there. Okay, let's go on down the road and we'll try to find some more. It's hard for me to find short grass trails this time of the year, guys, but I'm doing my best. Just stay hooked with me. All right, guys, I kind of drove around looking for some more trails and I couldn't find much. Kind of a hard time of the year to be looking for those short grass trails where nothing's been mowed yet. But I promise you, as we get closer in the season and as the weeks progress and we go along here, we will delve off more into snaring. It seems like a lot more guys are running snares these days and cable restraints depending on where you live. They're cheap, they're fast, they're very economical. You can run a pile of them in a hurry. So as things progress, we'll jump off into it more in detail. We'll go into some things like snaring on big baits, also snaring on baits that are there all the time. I'll show you how to do that so that they don't get ate up by predators and birds and mice, and they'll keep continually working for you. Plus, we'll go into some small baits and use some lures with snares as well. Plus, I'd kind of like to go in more detail about just exactly how good a canine's eyes are when it comes to snaring. Anyway, guys, I sure want to thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. If you would, please give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. It does help my channel a lot, just nothing more than hitting the thumbs button. Leave a comment below what you might like to see. Again, this is Dale Billingsley with another one. Signing out.